You think steel is silent? You think a 100-foot leg of high-grade Norwegian iron just snaps without a sound? God, you're wrong. When the D-leg went, it didn't just break, it screamed like a dying animal. A screech of metal tearing itself apart that I still hear when I try to sleep. One minute, I was drinking bad coffee. The next, the floor became the wall, and the North Sea, that black, freezing hell, it was waiting for us. It was hungry. My brother was in the cinema. I was 10 feet away. 10 feet. It might as well have been 10 miles. Let's go back. Just 20 minutes back. March 27th, 1980. The Alexander Kielland. We called it a flotel, a floating hotel. It wasn't a rig that drilled for oil. It was where the men from the Edda platform came to sleep, eat, and forget they were living in the middle of a hurricane. It was supposed to be the safest place in the North Sea, unsinkable. A pentagon of steel sitting on 5 massive legs. The weather was garbage that night. Force 10 gale. Fog so thick you could chew it. Waves maybe 12 meters high? I don't know. Big enough to swallow a ship. But inside it was warm. It smelled of cigarettes, wet wool, and fried fish. I was in the mess hall. My kid brother, Eric, he'd just headed to the cinema. They were showing some action movie, The Guns of Navarone, I think. I told him, go save me a seat, I'll grab a smoke. He looked tired. We all were. 3 weeks on, 1 week off. The rhythm of the oil fields. He smiled at me, fixed his glasses, and said, don't take too long, old man. That was the last time I saw his face, not twisted in fear. See, the Kielland had been winched away from the Edda platform because of the storm. We were floating free, just us and the ocean. We felt safe. We were idiots. Because while we were watching movies and drinking coffee, something was happening underwater. Something silent. You know what my job is? I'm a welder. I fuse metal. I know that if you do it right, the weld is stronger than the steel itself. But if you do it wrong, the investigation, later, the suits in the clean offices, they found it. Brace D6. Remember that name. Brace D6.
Brace D6 was a diagonal support on one of the 5 legs, a massive steel tube. But here's the joke, the sick, cosmic joke of it all. The brace didn't fail because it was weak. It failed because of a tiny, stupid hydrophone mount. A sonar device. Some engineer, years ago, back in the French shipyard, decided to weld a small flange onto this massive load-bearing brace to hold a microphone. A 6mm fillet weld. That's it. That's the killer. 6 millimeters. The welder who did it, maybe he was tired. Maybe it was a Friday afternoon. He left a bad bead, poor penetration. It left a tiny crack, a hairline fracture. And for 4 years, that crack grew. Every wave that hit the rig, flex. Every storm, widen. Salt water got in, corrosion, fatigue. It's like bending a paperclip back and forth. Eventually, the metal gets tired. It gives up. We call it the blueprint decay. The moment the design turns against you. On March 27th, the crack had circled almost the entire circumference of the brace. It was holding on by a thread. And then the hydrophone mount snapped off. But it didn't just fall, it took the whole brace with it. And without the brace, the massive D-leg, it just buckled. It snapped off completely. Physics took over. 1830. I was lifting my lighter to my cigarette. Bang! It sounded like a cannon shot, not thunder, metal. The whole rig shuddered, like it had been punched by God.
I dropped the lighter. For a second, there was silence. Just the hum of the ventilation stopping. Then, the tilt. It wasn't slow. It was instant. The floor dropped 30 degrees. Tables, chairs, plates, men, everything slid. I slammed into the bulkhead. The coffee machine tore loose and crushed a guy's leg near me. Screaming. Suddenly, everyone was screaming. The lights flickered and died. Then the emergency reds and yellows kicked in, shadows spinning everywhere. I tried to stand up, but how do you stand on a 30-degree slope covered in spilled coffee and oil? Eric! That's all I could think. The cinema. I scrambled up the corridor. It was like climbing a mountain. The cinema. God. The door was jammed. I could hear them inside. Furniture had piled up against the lower wall. They were trapped in a box that was slowly turning into a coffin. I tried to pull the door. It wouldn't budge. The angle was too steep. Then, the rig groaned again. Another lurch. We were listing further. The water was rising. I made it to the deck. If you've never seen the North Sea in a hurricane from a sinking rig, you don't know what hell looks like. Rain hitting your face like bullets. Wind so loud you can't hear your own voice. And the lifeboats? That was the worst part. The list was so bad that on the high side, the boats couldn't drop. They hit the hull. On the low side, the waves were smashing them against the steel legs. I saw Boat 5 launch. It hit the leg. Crunch. Just splinters and bodies falling into the black water. The cinema was underwater now. I knew it. I knew Eric was gone. I didn't want to live. I really didn't. But survival instinct, it's an ugly thing. It takes over. I saw a raft. I jumped. The cold, it hits you like a hammer. It stops your heart. I looked back at the Kielland. And then, the impossible happened. The rig, it flipped, totally upside down. The 4 remaining legs pointed at the sky, like a dead animal floating on its back. The lights went out under the water. Silence. Just the wind. I remember the taste of oil in my mouth. I remember the sound of teeth chattering, mine and the guys next to me. We clung to that raft for hours. The fog was so thick you could only see the searchlights from the supply ships, ghostly beams cutting through the dark. They pulled us out. They gave me a blanket. I sat there, shivering, staring at the wall. "Where is he?" I asked a nurse. "Eric, glasses, about this tall." She just looked at me. She didn't have to say anything. Out of 212 men, 123 died. Most of them were in the cinema. They never had a chance. The water came in too fast. Later, years later, they tried to flip the rig back over to find the bodies. They found him, but they didn't find Eric. The sea kept him. The investigation concluded it was fatigue failure. Fatigue. Like the steel just got tired of holding us up. But I know the truth. It was that weld, that 6mm strip of metal that someone didn't check. A tiny mistake, a shortcut, and it cost 123 lives. You look at these massive structures, they look eternal, but they aren't. They're just millions of pieces of metal held together by faith. On the Alexander Kielland, the rust won. I still weld. Crazy, right? But now when I lay a bead, I check it. I check it twice. I check it until my eyes burn. Because I know what happens when you don't. I know what it sounds like when the blueprint decays. It sounds like my brother screaming.
Hey, subscribe! Because structures fail and blueprints decay.